Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We're here. We're live. Some of us are queer.
Some of us.
Some of us are queer. And we love to see it.
Although they say it's a spectrum.
Mhm.
Kinsey scale, baby.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yes, it is. We're also live on the
So anyway,
Miguel and
Yeah.
Holly Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Welcome.
Absolutely. Welcome to everything. I want to kick everything off with something really cool. One of the things I love about working for iHeartMedia is that they have so many different projects that they work on to do good in the community, and that they'll just sort of like tap you for, and you're like, oh crap, I need to get on this and do this. And so I have been included on this Love Has No Labels ad campaign that they're doing with the ad council. So think of the
Okay.
ad council. These are the people where you'll hear like the, don't smoke commercials or tobacco, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They try to get people to do good. Well, one of their campaigns that they're working on is called their Love Has No Labels. And it's basically focusing on how people have overcome instances of discrimination and how they've used those forces for good to change their life or to make a difference. And so for me, one of the things that I would say is if you had to look at where I went to high school, probably back then the teachers would admit, because of where I came from, what I looked like, that I was put into a bucket of special education, and he wouldn't be able to go to college and he wouldn't be able to achieve these things. And because of where I came from and how I grew up. And they
Yeah.
all, some of them since then have come back and been like, it was a different time. We made a mistake. I'm so sorry. You were more than capable of going to college and being successful. So I now try to advocate for kids and parents and say, push the boundary. Your kid just learns differently. If they don't, do well at multiple choice questions, doesn't mean that they're not smart or they can't go to college,
Right.
So that's how I've overcome that. So what we're looking for that could be played on the air all around the country on the iHeartRadio stations is to, on the iHeartRadio app, when you click on Hits 96.1 and then right next to it, it has that talk back feature.
Yeah.
If you would sort of tell your story about how you faced bias, discrimination, or hate, and how you responded with an act of love. Okay. And so what they're doing is they're taking all these stories from different cities around the country with the ad council and creating these testimonial commercials from real people, and not just coming up with the scenario and scripting it, but actually doing it in real life.
I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah. So I wanted to first off talk about it on the podcast first, just to get through it, because I've talked about it on the show and I didn't want to stumble my way through it.
Well, I was going to say, we have to talk about it on the show. Like, that's kind of a lot
Yeah. It's a lot to sort of
dive
get
into.
through.
So saying it on the podcast first is perfect, because that gives you an opportunity to hear it out loud as you say it out loud for the first time.
Absolutely.
Without having the restrictions of time,
right,
as we do on the air.
That's what I was telling Kelvin the other day, as he's new with us, is he's getting to know some of my like weird habits. How like as soon as the show is over, it'll be like dead silent in the studio.
I was going to say, you know what? I'm actually curious, Kelvin, how you've been handling like how Miguel is at times like, and then sometimes he's just like,
Legit, he's like that, but he's staring at like the screen, but he doesn't move.
no,
And he's like that.
yeah.
He's like that for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you good? And he's like, I'm gonna go get a meat stick. I'm like,
Right.
all right.
Yeah, I
Go
know.
ahead.
Quiet.
And then he wakes up.
Make sick. It's weird. And like at some points, and like, obviously we have a great relationship, but like at some points, like it goes on for just long enough and then past that point to where you're like, are we good? Is he mad?
See,
At me?
I would feel that way in the morning, but he has his rule, which is like by 45, that's when you can talk to me. And I'm like, okay, I respect that. I don't like talking in the morning either. So, but
Yeah.
yes, I understand what you
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. Kelvin was like, hey, do you have any like pet peeves or anything? And I was like, no.
Well,
Okay, actually, don't talk to me until
just shut up.
until 5:45. Until 5:45. And I
then
was
we
like,
can speak.
right.
Scott used to, poor Scott, he would be like just making noises and really trying to get himself worked up for the day because he was like, that's what he did. Like he just did things to get himself like amped up. He was so positive all the time. So he was always just like, yes. And Miguel would be like, shut up. I felt so bad for Scott. He's just trying to make noise, work himself up.
It is. Well, it's just right before the show. I'm like putting the puzzle piece of the show together. And so I'm like trying to think of like, does this go there? But then if we talk about this here, do we need to follow it up at that time? And is that going to have to replace something that was going to go there? So I'm like actively, that's why sometimes I look like I'm mad because it's me concentrating.
I know. I look mad when I'm concentrating too. Everybody's like, why are you such a bitch? I'm like, I'm just thinking really hard. So you got resting bitch face while you're thinking. That's okay.
Yeah. And so any other things you've noticed, Kelvin?
Not really. I feel like we have the same taste in salespeople, so that's good. But that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? Oscar said the other day, he listens to the podcast, by the way. So now I'm like, damn, I shouldn't like be telling that story about the time we got caught. And he's like, you're kind of like a Miguel and Holly love child. He's like, with the mental health things, like you kind of go along with what Holly's going through, and then also just Miguel and like his craziness. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I guess a little bit. I love that. I love that for me.
It's a hybrid. I love it for you too. It's a hybrid. I always get self-conscious when I realize that people actually listen to this period. Because like, okay, I can see the commenters, right? Like, and I don't look over there all the time because it's too distracting, but I will glance over at the comments. And then so I realize people are watching / listening live, but I never assume that anyone else in the whole world is listening. But then like, I don't know. I'll get a text out of nowhere and it'll be like a friend I haven't seen for a long time or heard from. And I'm like, wait, have I said any like really crazy shit on the podcast? Because I just forget like my real life friends and people that I like know in real life listen. It's just, I take that filter off, like I take that hat off. So it's a little, when you think about like your people, your tribe hearing it. I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah, there's been some people that I didn't realize listen, and I was like, oh.
Right? Isn't it weird? It's like this is our lives, and we're being super open and vulnerable with our lives. But then I also feel like this is my job. It's just what I do. And then I go home and then assume that no one has heard what I just said.
No, they heard it. They heard it.
I know, but that's what, like, I don't connect it like that.
Right.
It's maybe that's the reason why I'm able to be so open, because I just don't assume anyone's listening.
You got to sort of just suspend reality for a little bit.
You do. Otherwise, it'd be too difficult, I think. So
speaking of, let's give shout outs real quick to some of the Platypus posse that is watching right now on our Facebook and YouTube channel with Miguel and Holly. Christina, Doe Eyes, Laura Toplife, Lynette, Zinda, Martha. Martha, I don't know. Have we seen you before? I don't know if we've seen you before. Let's see. Anne Marie and Amy, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Awesome.
We've seen Joe before.
Absolutely.
Laura Toplife goes, none of us are listening or watching. Okay.
She said, none of us.
Okay. We're speaking into the void.
Well,
that's fine.
We love to see it. Well, speaking of, since no one is watching or listening, Kelvin just threw out this inside little joke here about our common likes that we have here. He said,
the salespeople, you mean?
Yep.
The salespeople here have been so nice. Like, so all the commercials you hear on the radio station, they're the ones that are in charge of, making sure that they go tell our story to clients here in Charlotte and the Carolinas.
Yeah.
And we have new salespeople that have come on board since we've been here. And there are some that we're like, wow, they are really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
You shut your lying ass mouth. You mean there is a tall, hot man that works there now?
We didn't say that, Holly. Wow. Unprofessional.
Miguel, I would have allowed it if you would have been like, are attractive, but you said nice. Like, that is a bold-faced lie.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, is
lies.
it okay?
Actually, we have a very attractive sales team across the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's hold on. Let's do a little gut check here before we go down this route. When it comes to talking about someone like this, is it okay to talk about their physical features like a coworker?
Probably not.
Because it's, we want to do a gut check of, 10 years ago, I would have gotten a secret picture and shared it on the video and been like, y'all, look at this. Hey,
I know.
Look what we got over here.
And then we learned that's inappropriate.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
That violates people's rights to just
Right.
exist without being showcased on social media.
Right.
So yeah, you did stop. But I don't know.
Is it can you talk about
I
wouldn't say anything?
Probably not.
Well, but I feel like this person is a very physically fit person. And so they clearly care about their health and their fitness and how they look.
Right.
And so isn't the goal of that? Well, no, because you could do it for yourself, not for other people.
No.
But I mean, in a perfect world, yes, you fucking do it for yourself. But let's face it, people do it for other people. I'm sorry. Let's not sit here.
Okay,
and
hold
pretend
on.
good. Yeah.
Whoa, hold on. Now, it just depends on their personality. Some people are on the DL or even high key, yes, oh my God, that is fulfilling some things. Talk about me on your podcast, please. That's
right.
Woo! And then some people legit are please just don't. Who I'm thinking of who is an attractive gentleman that was a salesperson at our former station, Miguel, that went to your same college.
Yes. Yes.
Attractive gentleman, but was I will die if you say that again. Please stop talking about me.
Right.
He was not about that life.
Right.
It just depends on your personality.
But he also didn't. We don't know this person. So, obviously, we're not going to say their name. We're not going to give anything. They're hot. Okay, there we go.
They're super hot.
Thank you for your honesty.
With but what's fascinating to me is that, and if they ever hear this, I don't want them to ever think anything bad, but it was the buzz of the building when they got here.
Do you think they knew that? Is that self-centered to assume that?
That's why I want to know. Okay, here's a better question. All right, I'm trying to run it through my politically correct filter here.
Okay.
If you know that God, everything just sounds horrible the way I'm going to say it.
Do hot people like being talked about their hotness?
Do hot people often know that they're hot in as much as that they might be talked about by other coworkers?
Right.
I don't know.
That's what
I don't know. I'm not a hot person. That's wow. I bet someone's talking about me. No. So I don't know about that life. I'm not at that level. I don't know.
I'll let you know when I get there. I'm not there either, Mama. Nope. Nobody made a commotion when I came in.
I did.
You were the talk. You were the talk. Everyone was like, "Ooh, they got a producer. Hey, girl, look at him. He seems so nice."
You're not making him feel better at all. At all. Look at him. He seems so nice. Why is Winty nice? God.
Listen, that's what they said about us. They were like, oh my God, they're so nice. Not one fucking person in this building was like, ooh, we just hired a hot ass morning show.
Oh.
They were like, wow, they have such great personalities. They're so warm and friendly. Let's fucking be honest, okay?
I'm at the new morning show, and they're nice people.
They're really nice and funny.
I've heard
funny.
they're funny sometimes. Well,
tell
let's show
great
us what
stories.
y'all can do. Like, I don't know. And okay, so No Eyes is like, Holly, did you say you weren't hot? Like, okay, I do appreciate that. And I appreciate myself. Like, I think, especially on days when I put in a lot of effort, that I could turn a head or two. Okay,
Mhm.
I could. But on an average day, I just feel like I'm an average, like, coworker that's just walking by in the office. Like, because I'm not coming also to work in my blown off ball circa 2019 outfit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like,
right.
if I put my shit together, yes,
I mean,
maybe.
and like, okay, let's have this conversation because I sometimes, as we are progressing as a culture and trying to be more inclusive and I'm literally just go with me here as I'm trying to put this thought together.
Okay.
Like, back 10 years ago when we would have this conversation, we could say, and we've always said, Holly, about ourselves,
Yeah.
we're not conventionally hot people. Like, they wouldn't put us on the cover of like Glamour magazine as like the perfectly symmetrical face,
Right.
They would put
right.
us on there for being warm, giving, loving people, which are beautiful attributes to have.
Mhm.
Yes.
But I sometimes feel like in our world, like, we're not looking to lift people up. But can we all just admit that there are just some people that have symmetrically beautiful looking faces, and not saying that other people don't have them? It's just theirs are just more. Like, how do you talk about it in that way? Because in our culture right now, we want to be so careful and we don't want to offend anyone, and we want everyone to feel beautiful and lovely because they are, and we are.
Mm.
But like, there is just a difference between the way my face looks and there's a difference between the face Chris Hemsworth's face looks. I mean, like, why do you think we fawn over Chris Evans or Michael B. Jordan and we don't fawn over
Me.
me?
Giancarlo Esposito. I don't know.
Right,
Which I think he's attractive, but
Right.
not in the same way that Michael B. Jordan is attractive.
right. Like, why?
There's different types of hot.
Wait,
What?
why don't people fawn over Steve Buscemi?
Okay, there it is. There it is.
But they don't fawn over, or they don't fawn over him. So like, that's my question when, like, yes, everyone is beautiful. Everyone is beautiful.
Mhm.
And no one should get more or be praised more than other people.
I get. Well, I mean,
In a
we're a
perfect
product of the culture because look
Right.
how many times, like, they still run, like, people's most beautiful episode issue or whatever.
Right.
Like, conventionally, quote unquote, beautiful. I don't even. How we get off on this tangent? I don't
Hot
know.
privilege.
The new salesperson, hot privilege.
Oh yeah. that's
and
fine.
do they want to know?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's true. Okay, do they want to know? Yeah, I don't know. I would, like, since I find myself falling, like, on an average, like I said, sometimes I put some effort in and I feel myself like I'm feeling fussy in my Balenciagas one day or whatever.
Mhm.
Then I'm like, bitch, I'm gonna walk in this room. But I don't feel that every day. But I also have days where I'm just like, mama feeling rough today or whatever.
Right.
Mhm.
So we're somewhere in the middle, right? But I don't feel down about myself. Like, I feel I've gotten to a place at 40 that I feel good about myself generally. Good days, bad days, I still feel just decent.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I personally would want to know if somebody thought that I was hot and was talking about me, because it's a boost.
Right.
Mm.
A boost for me, especially as someone who was not attractive in the teen years.
Mm.
That damages a person. So like, if you had like ugly duckling syndrome, like I feel like I did, like, ooh, yeah, it was rough teen years. And then you kind of grew out of that and grew more into your looks and your body and whatever. Tell me. Yes,
Right.
tell me. I'm not
Right.
ashamed. I'm not embarrassed. I want to hear if you think I'm cute, because that boosts my ego. So yeah. And I would think probably a majority of people would feel that way unless you're very uncomfortable for a specific reason.
Kelvin, you've struck me as we've been getting to know each other like a person that's very comfortable in their skin. Like I've heard you talk about, like, oh, I want to lose weight because I can just feel myself for health reasons.
Right.
I've never once heard you be like, oh my God, I feel fat. I'm fat. You've just been like, oh, I need to get more healthy. Like, how have you, or where is your mind when it comes to how you feel about your physical body?
I think just going through therapy, I've learned to like speak to yourself a little bit kinder because at the end of the day, yes, I would like for my clothes to fit a little bit better. But there are differences in saying like, oh my God, I feel so fat today. I can't wear that shirt. Whereas I could say, man, I need to eat really healthy just so I could start looking a little bit better in the clothes and start to focus more on my food intake. So I
Mm.
think that's normally how I feel about it. It took a while for me to get there. I mean, I hated taking off my shirt at the pool, at the beach, and after a while, I was like, I don't give a fuck. If
Mm.
anybody wants to look at my man tits, like I don't care.
Right.
Like unless
Come
you are
on.
paying my bills, then why do I care about what you say about me?
Right.
And it wasn't, and honestly, being with my fiance Oscar, like he has boosted my confidence so much. I'm like, how does this well-functioning, mentally healthy person love me? And it just kind of boosted myself as well. So that's really where I'm at right now. Get you somebody
Mhm.
that's wholesome.
I
Yeah.
love that. I
And
mean,
boost each other up.
it really helps. I mean, I remember there were times when Abe and I first got together that I would just be like, so like, how you like me, girl?
Yes, yes,
Like
yes.
you, and especially for me, and I'm only talking about myself because we're being vulnerable. This is not putting it on anyone else. But at the time that we first got together, I was at like my highest weight that I've ever been in my entire life.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
he was looking like a little twink boy. And so
He was.
like when I look at pictures when even I got
He
together,
was.
I
He
was like,
was.
girl, what you into, honey? Like, what?
No, not the kink.
What you?
Oh,
And he's
God.
always, oh, the things I've said to him. And he's
Lord.
always just like, I loved you for you. That's it. And then I'm like, well, fuck, that says something more about me than it does about him and about the way I think about myself, that I would
Yeah.
think that. And that's something that I've had to work through because he's never once in my life. And even I've talked about this on the show. I've had to check myself when I have fluctuated in weight, and especially the first time that I lost a lot of weight when we were together. And I was on like the testosterone and like my muscles. And like that was the first time in my life that I had like a flat stomach. And I was like, girl, I ain't never gonna look like how I did back then. How in the hell could you be with somebody like me, girl? I look good now. And Abe is so smart. He was just like, I loved you then and I love you now.
Mhm.
And then, of course, a year later, when I was like, whew, Miguel back then was really looking hot, girl. He was like, I loved you in the beginning, then
matter.
and now. It don't matter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, fuck, I'm fucked up. So it's just so interesting how people deal with those sort of situations when it comes to their body image and how it makes them feel. Because it's always, for me, been a work in progress. I feel like
Yeah.
I've gotten better through the years, but I'll also backslide at times. Like when I was at my heaviest a little bit when we moved here after a couple of months, and I was really trying hard not to think bad about myself. And I was like, all right, how do you feel? And I was like, well, I feel sluggish. I don't want to work out. I feel tired all the time. That's what I focused on, and not about, ooh, I can feel my man boobs rubbing on my stomach, you know?
Mhm.
Mm.
So that really helped in changing that.
It's a work in
I think-
progress.
Jason has an interesting question, and I have an answer for this, I think.
Jason said, so question, not talking about myself, but what about people who know they are attractive, but say they aren't? Do you think they are fishing for compliments?
I think that is all very based on perception. How do you know that they know they're attractive?
Right.
So that, all right, let's assume they absolutely know they're attractive because they've been told or whatever, they took a test, whatever. And then they say they're not. I think, sure, there are a couple of people who could just be fishing for compliments.
Mm.
Compliments are nice. But I would think the majority of people might also feel uncomfortable because they're like, okay, like I know that I'm attractive. I mean, I guess what happens with attractive people is a lot of it's like I think that the attractive person, if they say, yes, I'm attractive, now it seems like they're bragging.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, like they're kind of caught in a catch-22 where it's like, do you say, yes, I'm absolutely very attractive? Like, thank you for noticing my face. And then like they say that and you're like, well, Jesus, rub it in for us average folks. How do they even, so then they try to play it down. I'm okay. What, now you don't want to admit that you're attracted? Like they're in a catch-22.
Accept the compliment.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
and a lot depends on their past and were they attractive always or were they not? There's a lot of different ways to answer this question.
Yeah. I mean, I remember just from, for the old time Platypus Posse members, for you new Charlotte folks, we had a producer in our previous city that, his name was Scotty the Body on our show, and he was a very attractive man. And I saw him.
What a body.
Right. What a body, girl. But I know he had trouble, because he didn't want to be arrogant, but like he worked out all the time. And so, of course, the compliments were nice, but you don't want to make it be like, oh, me. Because then you're like, okay, bitch, like clearly it's you. And so that is sort of like that, beautiful people curse of you don't want to seem overconfident, but then you don't want to also seem like you're fishing for compliments by being
it's a delicate balance of admitting, yeah, I'm hot, but I'm not conceited or anything. Like, I don't know. I felt like with Scott too, and I haven't texted him in a while, but like I would think even to this day, because on this podcast we've had this conversation, so I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. We called him sometimes out on the fact that he was a little bit obsessive about working out. It's not like he did it only just because his love of working out, which he does have a love of working out. But there's a part of him, in the back of his head, that's like, if you don't work out right now, you're a little bit garbage. Like you can and you're choosing not to. Like that's kind of a trash human thing. Not that he would ever think that about anybody else, because he wouldn't.
Right.
But he would never give himself that slack.
Right.
So it's like the push was real. And we've talked about it on this podcast. I don't ever have any idea which number or where it was or when. And somebody else mentioned too, I think Laura Best, body dysmorphia. Like most of it is mental.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. And it's what's crazy about it is as much progress that you can do to like be better, you still have those moments where you sort of backslide a little bit and you have to like build those reinforcements back up.
Right.
Because sort of like right now, there's a group of guys here in Charlotte that, we've hung out with. There's one guy in particular, a couple guys that Abe and I have connected with, and that they'll like invite us out to their sort of like group outings. But like every person in this group, 6-pack, perfectly tanned, muscles. And then Abe and I, just came from Golden Corral. We're like, hey, y'all, how you doing? What's going on? And we're both like, no, we're both valid. We are lovable people. We are as deserving to be here as anybody else is. But you still have those thoughts of how are they looking at us? Do they think that? Because when you play the game, it's like, which one is not like the other? Like, Abe and I are the ones that stick out. And then when you look at their social media and like their trips they do, and you're like, well, if this isn't a gay porn, I don't know what is. Because holy crap.
That's a whole other episode, Miguel, about like the gays and how they treat you if you are not.
Not
a twink, not an otter built with muscles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's a podcast for another.
A lot of
day.
judginess there.
It is. It is. And that's the weird thing in the gay community where it's like, we all want to say, we love everybody. We're here together. Inclusive. But then like go on TikTok and search gay TikTok and you will find, like there was one I remember that went viral, I think last year, of this guy who either had moved to a new city or something, but he like went out to the club to meet people that he had met online. And when he got there, like no one talked to him. They were like, you're fat. And then like he left in tears. And so all these people were like, we love you. And they like not remix, that's Instagram, but what's the thing on TikTok? Stitched his thing. And they're like, no, we love you. But I'm like, yes, that's great. But like that right there is the perfect example of the gay community, because
Yeah.
when I was single and I was on Grindr and all that stuff, like I would try to find the most CrossFit looking photo I could take, and guys would still be like, not my body type, not my favorite body type.
Right.
And you're like, okay, well, I don't know what else to do for you, but we
Right.
all love each other. So it's very much a thing of, you can't help but not when it's like reinforced in your face. And like
Yeah.
all those studies they say about like social media and like how it affects like teenage girls and everything,
Yes.
like it does it for everybody.
I just in the prep today read about and God bless Gen Z. Some Gen Zers are like out here doing the Lord's work when it comes to, you know, corporate culture and just whatever. But I feel like the title, shit, I'm gonna see if I can find it. I can't find it. I closed all my prep sites. But it was something along the lines of Gen Z is sick of this Kardashian skinny thick look.
Oh, I saw that.
Did
not
you
on-
see it?
I saw not on prep, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I saw it was on the prep, I think, somewhere. And I did open it up and I read a few paragraphs. I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing because then, you know, time got away.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Young women are tired of keeping up with the Kardashians' body image ideas.
Yeah.
People who've gotten Brazilian butt lifts and lip injections say they wish the sisters would be more upfront with their procedures. And what they're basically saying is the Kardashians are always like, we didn't get anything done. Like, this is a natural body. Bitch, when you look at the first season or first 2 seasons of Keeping Up with the Kardashians and you look like a regular person, and then all of a sudden you look photoshopped, but that's your real body in real life, you did not do that in the gym.
Like that's not how bodies work.
No.
By the way, like
No.
that's not how, like I yes, there is a very small percentage of the population who has a tiny ass, snatched ass waist
Mm-hmm.
and a gigantic ass.
Right.
That exists in nature sometimes. But by and large, that's not how bodies work.
Right.
No.
Not those proportions. Like it's cartoonish the way that some of the Kardashians and some of like celebrities look. How do you even buy clothing for that look? Like you have to have your clothes custom made because that just, like I said, I'm not saying every single one, because I'm sure there are people who have legit that body type, but it's not common.
Right. And
It's not common.
on HuffPost on Instagram, this is where I saw it this morning before the show. The quote from, I guess, the author of the article said, "From face to body, these women," and we talk about the Kardashians, "lack the accountability that comes in the public eye. We aren't stupid. I'd respect them more if they came out openly to say exactly what they got done. And yes, they do owe it to us. They've pushed these body types on us."
Yes. They've made it this silent thing. Hate to use the word thing, but this silent thing where it's like, this is the standard. You should really aim for this without telling anybody how they accomplished that.
It goes on to say, for baby millennials and older Gen Zs who were in grade school when Keeping Up with the Kardashians debuted in 2007, it's been hard not to compare their bodies to the famous sisters and their Kardashian light influencers, though some fans and naturally haters are on to the women. On Kardashian fan boards, on subreddits, fans vigorously debate how the sisters bought their glow up and browbeat the reality stars for not being transparent about their work.
Mm-hmm. And then they're selling makeup to be like, you can look exactly like me with this makeup line.
This contour.
And let me take that back. The quote I read, that was actually from someone who commented on the article. Wafa K. Noonan, a 22-year-old who lives in the Bay Area in California, says it burns her soul to hear the Kardashians claim they haven't gotten anything done. We have these white women go from skinny, normal-looking body types to a complete 180 change, she said. From face to body, these women lack the accountability that comes in the public eye.
The Kardashian obsession, I'm not a Kardashian apologist by any means. But I I think a part of it has to do with their fan base. I think this obsessive, addictive social media culture has really been
Mhm.
detrimental to beauty standards.
Mhm.
And I don't think it's fair to just make them the face of beauty and standards because they want to look the way that they want to look because they can afford it. On the other side of that, I do agree with what some of the article is saying, which is like they're not transparent. And if they were transparent, then I think it would be a lot more helpful to this society, and especially girls growing up, guys growing up, because guys are also getting surgery to look like them too.
Mhm.
Um, so for me, I find it like not fair that they are constantly being attacked for what they want to do to their bodies because it's their bodies, their choices. However, I do believe that at this point in their fame, they do have some sort of responsibility where they are influencing people, whether they like it or not. And I think the transparency, I think, is a really great, um, I think a good solution
Right.
to really everything.
I totally agree. The accountability that like you have amassed this fortune from a very rabid fan base, but it's sort of been built one-sidedly where like they see that the fan base is there, but they're not going to go all the way and be transparent about
Right.
it. I just being a little more open, I think, would go a long way.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
also, to go, I guess, hop on Kelvin's train of thinking here. It's sort of like with the media, how like people say, "Oh my gosh, the media is so negative. The media is so negative. Why don't y'all talk about more real stuff or report like the good stuff?" But there is a clear line that when media television stations talk about more divisive negative things, ratings go up.
Yeah.
When they try to skew more educational or more down the line facts, the ratings go down. And so when you look at someone like the Kardashians, and when their goal at the end of the day is to look out for number one and to get more money, and when you know what's going to feed the beast and it's posting these types of pictures. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day, like the guys that I was talking about with the gay guys here in Charlotte. Like,
Yeah.
I was just looking, and I know we shouldn't compare, but you just can't help it sometimes. But like this guy, look at his Instagram. He had a photo of him on the beach recently, and
Mhm.
it had like 6,000 likes on it, and he only has like maybe 3,000 likes or followers on his Instagram. And I was like, I'm just curious. Let me go look at my wedding photos and just see like what. And I was like,
But
oh.
you fall victim to that a lot, the
Oh.
comparison.
But you can't, but everybody does that. I mean, not everybody. A lot of people do that because if you don't have these types of like discussions in your mind where you think about these sort of things, what would be the most logical conclusion you would come to? Well, in order for me to be more popular, to get more likes, I've got to look like that. I've got to do that. And so it's sort of like who's wagging the dog? How do we
Yes.
actually change it?
Yeah.
Because they
Because
want to get paid.
We're getting, and the society is clicking on stuff that's negative and wanting to see those images. So it's like a give take relationship, but it's like, how do we break that cycle?
Right. I mean, for me, I try to like, if you looked at my explore page, and I'm slowly trying to change it, instead of it just being like, ooh, here's hot guys, let me like enter,
That's mine.
right.
I don't even look up hot guys like that. But anyways, sorry.
But like when you interact and then, you see a suggested reel, and it'll come up and you're like, ooh. So I always just try to go down food TikTok and let me like look at fun recipes, some keto recipes. Let me look at Charlotte restaurants. Let me look at Charlotte real estate. And I try to like change what I give my attention to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And not just that, even though, I'm just one person. But if we all did that a little bit, it would take a little bit power away. I don't know.
I also saw a meme that made me feel really, really good. It said something along the lines of, buy clothes that fit. Stop waiting for you to lose this weight so you can fit into your old clothes. Buy an outfit that you look absolutely hot in, wear it, and then if it doesn't fit anymore, it doesn't fit anymore, or get it tailored. But whatever it is, buy clothes that make you feel good now, right now. And I was like, what is stopping me from just looking good? I can look good at any shape. And that took a long time for me to think like that.
Mhm.
So
I'm still not there. I'm
Clothes that fit,
I'm
man.
always like, girl, the outfit would look so good if I just lost
yeah.
10
Yeah.
pounds. But
I always would do that with like outfits that I would forget that aren't for my body. Or like haircuts that aren't for my hair. Like know your body. So like I will flip through some magazines I'll get in the mail or something. Because yes, I do sometimes get clothing magazines in the mail like it's 1950.
Come on, Sears catalog.
Yes, mama.
Flipping through my mind. So I'll flip through and I'm like, oh my God, that is so cute. Not real. Like I literally have to stop myself and be like, wait. Is it cute because that girl is wearing that outfit? Like she is wearing it. It's not wearing her. She's wearing that outfit. And then I'm like, is my body like that girl's body? Because I don't know if that outfit would look the same on me. And so that's where I have to be just very careful about what does look good on me and what am I going to rock so that I feel good about myself.
That's why I really like Rihanna's Fenty line, because they have all different types and sizes of models. Because like for me, I a lot of times shop at Express for clothes that I want to like look like my fancy stuff or somewhat, semi-casual, not my like chubby, stretchy shirts that I wear all the time.
Yeah.
But like all of their mannequins are slim, tiny waist. And so I'll be like, ooh, that outfit's gonna look bomb as fuck. And I'll buy it, and then I'll take it home, and I'll put it on, and my big old titties are just busted out. And I'm like, damn it. I've been fooled again.
That mannequin didn't have no titties. Foiled. Damn it. Yeah. Yes. No, I agree. Because I have a really hard time with pants. Like or jeans in general, because I ain't got no booty, but they assume everybody does.
Right.
So they leave room in the back of the pants, and I'm like, I don't need this room. Give it to somebody else who needs
You
it.
could store some snacks in there.
Yes. Little treats for
girl.
later.
Speaking of treats, before we leave,
are you okay?
We have this really cool Charlotte listener. He just dropped our box of snacks.
Oh Jesus,
Ron the snack guy. And I like to shout out, especially our new Charlotte listeners that have been so cool in welcoming us to the city. He has a snack company. He is formerly veteran.
Military.
He's former military. He sent us a bunch of snacks. What's in there, Kelvin?
And by the way, this was to be full disclosure. We did not ask him to send us the snacks. He just decided to send them.
I might have.
He didn't ask for payment.
Honestly, I might have.
He did not ask us to pay. This was a free snack drop, not even in exchange for anything, just to make sure we're on the up and up. So we just wanted to, thank him for thinking to do that.
Oh, he said, thank you for your support, Ron. And then there's a letter. Hey guys, love the show, and thanks for being you. I get up and start my day with your show and laugh so hard, people probably think I'm a mental case. Thanks for the shout out about my snack business. The little guys have it tough. My late father, Ernest Agabright, was a business owner, and I learned firsthand it's no easy task. I just love making customers smile. Part of my sales goals to All Dogs Unleashed in Charlotte, North Carolina. They take donated dogs and shelter dogs and train them to be service dogs, then award them to veterans in need.
I love that.
Oh, we got real snacks, Mama. Sweet bourbon and cheese crunchers.
Oh,
cheese crunchers.
Yes.
Girl.
Some homegrown popcorn, toffee, almond.
Ooh.
Oh, you hooked this up. Beer, cheese, and bourbon popcorn.
Oh,
peanut butter and chocolate popcorn.
Oh,
yeah, we have so much stuff. More classic caramel popcorn, pecans. Is this a candle?
What?
No, it's not a candle.
Oh,
it's like an unboxing.
They're
video.
malts. I could use this container.
Yum.
What is it?
Malt balls.
Oh, that's like the little
like malted milk balls.
Yeah, I used to love those at the
There's
movies.
honestly so much more stuff.
Wow.
You see the video on Facebook or YouTube. The boy hooked us. Oh.
Wow. Well, Holly, we'll have some for when you come here.
Okay.
We will.
Maybe.
Just watching this, and I'm just like,
you'll be here in a couple of weeks.
I know. I'm a little bit like dreading actually this next visit because it's going to be so breakneck. And it's a lot, and it's Chicago.
It's over a weekend.
No, I know, but it's just a lot for me. Period, because it's my birthday. I can't be. It's just a lot. So I'm like doing that thing where I'm just gonna like run straight into it and just do all the things and then be gone from my house for like a week and then come back in and then be like, I'm back. Now what? What's next? And we just kind of that's okay.
And then Zinda said, and school starting.
Thank you, Zinda. Yes. Right? Like this, I'm saying, like it's just there's a lot going on in August, but I'm just gonna hold my breath and run through.
Got this.
What's his website, Kelvin? Lower top left side, I need a website address.
RonTheSnackGuy.com.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Easy peasy.
So Ron, thank you for sending those. Full disclosure. Thank you. All right, cool. We're done today. Kelvin, what's all your social media?
At Kelvin Live, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and possibly OnlyFans.
Yeah, Holly.
Radio Holly on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
Oh, we're supposed to ask you here, the Platypus Posse, what should we name the podcast today?
Oh,
You're supposed to
here
help
was
us name.
my idea already. You want to hear my idea?
Yeah.
Do hot people know they're hot?
Ooh.
Do hot people know they're hot?
Do
But
hot
also-
people know they're hot?
But what else? Anybody else have a suggestion?
All right, well, I got a couple seconds.
No?
My name
No?
is well, while I give out my social media, at Miguel Fuller on everything. And if you would, please, go look and like stuff on the Miguel and Holly Instagram. Thank you. That would be much appreciated because Kelvin is doing such an amazing job of keeping the Miguel and Holly Insta up and going.
Yes,
So shout out to Kelvin for all the
Thank
hard work he's
you.
putting in there.
for sure.
So go take a look. All
Looks
right.
amazing.
We'll keep looking at all the comments until then. But make sure to go check out the Platypus Posse / Miguel and Holly fam Facebook page. We appreciate it there. Thank you so much. And we will see you all on Friday.
Miguel and Holly Uncensored.
Catch it on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you listen to podcasts.